Okay. Like I said, if it kicks me off, don't leave. I'll log back on. I don't know why it keeps on kicking me off today. But we're just going to finish chapter 12. Then you guys have an assignment. All right. So remember, he just walked in both sets of doors. We are on page 144. It was dark, but I could see there were 6 men sitting in a circle on the little stage at the other end of the room. One of them was white. 5 of them had their eyes on the other guy. One of them had drumsticks in his hand and was leaned over softly, tapping out a rhythm on the wooden stage floor. 3 of them were drinking from bottles of pop, and one, a real old one, was using a rag to wipe the inside of a trumpet. The guy who had to be my father was sitting with his back to me, wearing a hat. He was talking just like me, and it didn't take much listening to tell me to me. It didn't take much listening to tell he was lying, or at least doing some real good exaggerating, just like I do. That was all the proof I needed. His voice was a lot rougher and more tired sounding than I thought it'd be. He leaned back in his chair. That's right. After I won the Golden Gloves, no one couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be middleweight champ within 2-3 years tops. The drummer stopped tapping. Middleweight? What, this was so long ago gravity wasn't as strong as it is now, or did a pound just weigh less back then? So they're saying that Mr. Herman E. Calloway's like a little heavy. The others laughed, but my dad didn't let it bother him. That's right, middleweight. You got to keep in mind that I had more hair and fewer pounds back then. He pulled the hat off and rubbed the hands over his glass smooth head. My dad shaved his hair. That was something I always wanted to do. Lots of people shave their hair, but Bud's looking for any reason that him and his dad are similar right now. He said, my manager goes and lines up out against a fighter out of Chicago by the name Jordan Snaggletooth McNevin. McNevin? From that name, I'm expecting some young Irish kid with bad teeth, but this guy was one of us. And so I wasn't about to show mercy. You understand? All the guys on stage were nodding. And to make long story short, I go out, flick this halfway stiff right jab clean at Papa's head. And the horn guy said, Herman, to this day, I can't believe you swung at that old man. What was I supposed to do, Jimmy? I wasn't trying to kill him or nothing. I just wanted to put him down quick and quiet. Jimmy went, The next thing I know, I'm watching my mouthpiece and my chance to be champ flying out of the ring into the 4th row of seats. I ain't never been hit so hard in my life. The drummer said, what, you lost the fight and quit? Then Herman E. Calloway said the words that let me know I was right. I felt like someone had cut a light on inside me. I knew it had been right for me to come all the way from Flint to Grand Rapids to find my dad. The idea that had started as a teeny weeny seed in the suitcase was now a mighty maple. Herman E. Calloway, my father, said, there comes a time when you're doing something and you realize it just doesn't make any sense to keep on doing it. You ain't being a quitter. It's just that the good Lord has sense to give you the sense to know you understand enough is enough. So if you remember that, Bud said that same thing when he like curled up when the Amos kid was beating him up. He like just was like, it's enough's enough. I know I'm not going to win. I'm going to call it quits. So that's something Bud has said. That was the exact same thing I thought when I had gotten whipped by that toddy boy. Only 2 folks with the same blood would think them just alike. I sucked in a big gulp of air, got a good grip on my suitcase, and walked into the light of the stage. The old horn guy, Jimmy, saw me first and said, I thought I heard the door open. Did Miss Thomas send you, son? I just kept walking on the stage. I had to see my father's face. I knew we'd look so much alike that the truth would hit him as hard as that snaggletooth guy had. Even Lefty Lewis said he could tell me and Herman E. Calloway were kin. In case you don't remember, kin means family. I turned to see who Jimmy was talking to, and my mighty mate.
She frozen for anybody else?
Yeah, she's frozen.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. Sorry, I left. Well, I didn't leave. It just kicked me out. If it kicks me out again, I have the link on my phone. I'll just bring it up on my phone. But we're almost done with this chapter. So, anyways, my mighty maple tree started shaking. My dad's face was old. My dad's face was real old, just like this horn guy. Maybe too old, but there's too much proof that this was my father. He smiled at me. He had his arms crossed over a great big stomach with his head wiping rag hanging out of his right hand. The first thing my dad said to me was, well, little man, what brings you here, Miss Thomas? I don't know any Miss Thomas, sir. So what are you doing here? He put his hand over his eyes to shield them from the stage lights and looked into the dark part of the bar. I noticed how wrinkly my dad's hand was. Who brought you here? Your folks out there? No, sir, I'm here to meet my father. Jimmy said, who's your daddy? Why'd he tell you to meet him here? I kept looking at Hermione Calloway. He didn't tell me to meet me here, sir. I came all the way from Flint to meet my daddy for the very first time. Oh, the man looked over at the drummer. He stopped tapping. He said, oh, man, look, this child ain't no kid of mine. What's your mom's name, boy? So everyone's like, oh, snap, someone's got a kid they didn't know about? Okay, must be the drummer. But the drummer's like, it's not my kid. I don't know. I said, you ain't my daddy. I pointed right at Hermione Calloway's big belly. You know it's you. All of the eyes jumped over on Hermione Calloway. He quit smiling and looked at me a lot harder, like he was really noticing. All right, can you guys hear me? I just turned on my cell phone because this stupid computer keeps on kicking me out. I just want to finish. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me. We're almost done. I knew if I was a regular kid, I'd be crying buckets of tears now. I didn't want these men to think I was a baby, so I was real glad that my eyes don't cry no more. My nose plugged up, and a little growl came out of my mouth, and I kept my finger pointed, cleared my throat, and said, I know it's you. Oh, snap. So he's just accusing Hermione Calloway of being his father. Oh, man. All right, I'm going to show you your assignment. I'm going to share it real quick. Da-na-na-na-na. Where's it at? Where's it at? Wait, that's not what I wanted to do. Present now. All right. So the assignment's going to be shared in 1 minute. Maybe. If I can get there. You have 10 questions, and they are from chapters 10, 11, and 12, okay? So make sure you number your questions. Make sure you use capital letters and punctuation. You need to have a complete sentence for every single answer. Number 1, who pulled over on the side of the road and gave Bud food and a ride? I want his real name and his nickname. Number 2, what food did Mr. Lewis give Bud? Number 3, where did Mr. Lewis take Bud after they dropped the blood off? Number 4, what did everyone at the Sleets house do before they ate food? Number 5, why was Bud having a hard time during the breakfast meal? Number 6, Bud got his first pair of what from Miss Sleet? Number 7, what does Mr. Lewis do for a living? Number 8, what is a Packard? Number 9, why couldn't Bud let Mr. Lewis and Hermione Calloway talk? And number 10, what did Bud say at the end of chapter 12 to his dad, Hermione Calloway, while pointing at him? So you have 10 questions. They need to be numbered. You need to restate your answer or restate the question. And no, we're done reading now for Isaac. So are there any questions? They are due by tomorrow. You have the rest of reading RTI to do them. And obviously for homework, 10 questions. You need to number them 1 through 10. You need to have capital letter, punctuation. Make sure you're writing them in a complete sentence. Okay? If you do not have any questions, you are free to log off and get started.
Bye.
Bye.